What's up, guys? It's KikiZilla 101 here yet again. How's everybody doing? Let's wait for some people to bounce in. We got some spam stuff from Goat. We got Pizzasaurus909 first. Jimzilla. What's up, guys? Okay, so now people are starting to roll in. How are you all doing? Oh my goodness, it's been so long since we've done one of these. I just realized it's been so freaking long. I haven't been on a Kiki stream in like months. You've been on like a couple weeks ago, I think. You're late, Aiden. I am. I was busy doing something, but it's still around the time that I said it was going to be, so not that late. I'm doing great. Awesome. Hey, J212 is here. Yo, I'm back. King Kaiju is here. What's up, Yeetus? And editing the project I showed you. What did I just find? I found a dust patch on the back of my chair. That was gross. I've been waiting for hours. Creeper, oh man, my goodness. Yeah, so I get, oh my goodness, it's been like forever since we've done one of these, but let's start off with what do you all think of the episode? I think I have a general consensus based on the comments, but what do you guys think of the episode? You're not late for a stream for the first time. It's true. So Goat, I'm going to put you in timeout if this becomes a meme in the chat. I have a pro and a con. Go for it, man. All the stuff. Hercules. Rex is a snitch and Blue is a G. My pro. 9 out of 10, better than any DI season 5 episode. Well, that's one heck of a compliment, but wow. Are you sure? I mean, Dinosaur Island has some really good episodes this season. I've been anxiously awaiting the stream. Heck yeah, stream's going now, man. Hey, we have a lot of the people that I've been hoping that people show up. Tyrannorex is here. Love the respect for Blue Rex and Blue. Rex and Red Tooth are a tie between my favorite character, but Blue is awesome. A very great place. Awesome. Blue is the best. He is the best. Blue is awesome. He's such a cool guy. And here's Rex. And the fun thing is that they have a pretty distinct size difference, actual figure-wise. I think Rex is pretty significantly larger than Blue. But in the show, I try to represent it that they're more kind of evenly sized, and actually, more often than not, turns out making it look like that Blue's bigger, which makes me happy because on the island, at this time, the Gigas are definitely bigger than the Rexes in general, or they can get bigger, like ever so slightly, just overall a little bit bigger. But I'm just pretty happy that I've managed to make them look very similar in size. That's the main point. But yeah, actually with the figures, Rex is significantly larger, or at least notably larger than Blue. My only con is that I feel too many characters were introduced in the second episode. That's gonna keep going. There's a lot of characters in the show, but that's intentional. For one reason, it's supposed to feel chaotic and overwhelming. A lot of the characters are given names, kind of like I used to watch some of the things with my family, like some of the primate shows like Chimp Island, or maybe it was Orangutan Island. There'd be a lot of those like primate shows and stuff, and they would name drop characters a lot, just as kind of little factoids. And I some of those are kind of like that. They're like, hey, this character just happens to be that name. And I get that can probably be pretty jarring, especially because people are more used to the way that we're typically kind of going about the shows, where all of the named characters are supposed to be things that we're following intently. But also with how long each episode is in the show, it's kind of like each episode has its own little story. So it's kind of like there's certain characters that are kind of unique to certain episodes or only show up every once in a while and have little stories in this episode, but then maybe they're not in a couple episodes and they're a story in another one. Only so many characters are actually consistent ones that you really need to focus on. And this is definitely an experiment. I'm not saying that just because that's my intent that it's your criticism is invalid, because that's not true. I do really want to hear if you guys think that intent is going to carry through properly through the rest of the show. So as it keeps going, I'd love to hear you guys' opinions on how you feel about the character count and stuff like that. Just in general, season 2 and 3 of Mesozoic Isle are much more reserved than this season. Just by design, this one was kind of like that. But I'd love to find out what you guys think in general of the way that I'm approaching how many characters we have in this. Your show is definitely better than Dinosaur Island. Sorry, Gibson. I think that it's a taste thing. They're different types of shows. They're very different. But I really immensely appreciate that you even put me up on that level. That is incredible. And the show. For the info, the average Giganotosaurus is 40.5 feet long and 7.5 tons. That's not quite true, but I know what you're trying to say. You're trying to follow up with the I think it was what's his name? Was it Franois that did those? But yeah, that's not quite true. We don't actually have like that many specimens that we can definitely tell the length of. They're very fragmentary. The ones that are bigger are pretty fragmentary. And the one that we have based, that's the largest one, is fairly fragmentary based off of, I think, a couple parts of the skull and a couple other scattered parts. But that one is the one that was originally speculated to be up to possibly 46 feet long. I know that some people have vastly shrunk that, but also those were also done by, I think, Franois and a couple other guys that were really overly shrinking some animals. And so I don't really know how valid that is. But either way, in Mesozoic Isle, it for sure isn't the case. Giganotosaurus are definitely longer than Tyrannosaurus on the island, and they are slightly larger. They're not heavier. Tyrannosaurus are heavier. But they're very different animals. They operate differently. I see them as on an equal level. I've already explained this to like Tyrannorex, but I don't see Tyrannosaurus or Giganotosaurus as being superior to one another. In Mesozoic Isle, it's more case-to-case basis. So in this case, Rex is the inferior individual hierarchy-wise. Blue is the alpha. For personality reasons. I haven't said this like to everybody, so I'll go ahead and explain my little thought process. My basic thought process is between the two characters, Rex is a lot more laid back. He's kind of a chill dude. He's very intelligent, but he also he's not very territory orientated. He doesn't really need to have a territory to himself to be happy. He's perfectly comfortable in the situation that he is, with all the food that he has available to him. Blue is a lot more aggressive. And he's not super aggressive. He's very chill like Rex. That's why they can get along so well. But he's more aggressive than Rex. He's more territory orientated. He feels like he has to own. He has a little bit more of a ownership complex. He really wants to have something of his own, a territory. He's more active in maintaining the territory and traveling around it, patrolling it. Rex just doesn't. He really couldn't care less. So they just naturally just kind of get along and they fit in place. Rex just never contends with Blue. He's perfectly happy with Blue being where he is, and he doesn't argue with it. That's kind of my thought process behind the two characters and why they are the way they are. Hey, I just got Favorite Co. Velociraptor in the mail. Been waiting for months. Heck yeah, dude. I think I know which one you're talking about, but I don't remember all the Favorite Co. Velociraptors. True, if I had to guess, maybe 42, around 45 feet average. It's something around there for the adults, but we don't know for sure until we have like a fully complete individual, because one of the biggest things that we have to speculate with Giganotosaurus is the tail length, because we don't really have a lot to go off of with that. I think it's natural for Blue and Rex to chill and just be buds just like that. Yeah, it's very anthropomorphic, but I think it's like riding the border of what is too anthropomorphic and what's just lacking in anthropomorphism. So I think I'm really proud of how I've handled them, because they're very interesting. They're very unique characters. They still feel very real, but they also feel strangely human and intelligent at the same time, and it makes them very interesting. I think DI is starting to become my favorite over MI, but MI is still definitely a very close second. DI is freaking fantastic. This latest season is amazing. I love it so much. JP is like MI, but it's not a park, but a scientific research facility. Yeah, basically. Yeah, I mean, they're one of the islands that they do most of the operations for the prehistoric archipelago is kind of a lot like what you'd kind of imagine with Jurassic Park and the operations that go behind it. It's a lot like that. Very similar atmosphere there. Rex, what the heck is going on? Hercules, leave me alone, you old Rex. Hey, we don't tolerate troublemakers, just like we do with spammers. Just leave. Okay, Blue. Yeah, the way that I love that that went down is that obviously Hercules is causing some trouble with the herbivores, and for an obvious reason, Hercules is a carnivore. He's more competition to them. They welcome more herbivores in general because that's more prey that just in the environment. But also Hercules clearly is not up to much good. He seems to be intentionally contending with other things in the area. So obviously Rex hears him. He comes in. He says hello to Hercules in a very aggressive way. Tries to warn him off. Hercules starts roaring back. And if you look at how Rex kind of looks at him, he just he doesn't say anything, but he just kind of like tilts his head. And he's like, "The heck? Why is this little guy even arguing with me?" It's kind of more of like an interest and an innate curiosity. He's not threatened by Hercules. And then obviously the reason that he backs off isn't actually because of Hercules. He sees Blue off in the distance. He's like, you know what? Blue's the boss. I'm just going to let him handle it. I don't need to worry about it, because I think less than the reason that Rex is intimidated of Hercules, it's more that he just doesn't want to have a conflict with Blue. He knows that Blue is the top dog, and so he's just going to let Blue handle it, because he wants to just make sure that nothing between him and Blue is going to go wrong. If Blue's there, he's like, I'll just let him do it. I don't have to worry about it. It's less trouble I have to go through. And so that's kind of the reason he backs off there, is more of just like his respect for Blue, and he's like, I'm just going to let him deal with it. It's not my problem. I have a Mesozoic Isle fan theory. Lucas from Stranger Things is actually Lil Nas X. Okay. When do you think you will make a vid about what Collecta will do for 2020? Very soon. I'm actually planning a very unique and special video for that, which should hopefully be coming out fairly soon. So keep an eye out once I have time for that one. It's Prehistoric Archipelago. Is it Prehistoric Archipelago or Mesozoic Isle? So Prehistoric Archipelago is... oh, that's not good. The seam line on this leg is actually kind of cracking there. It is both, because Prehistoric Archipelago is the universe that I have. If you are aware with the other live streams and things I've announced, there's a whole universe I have planned with Mesozoic Isle. There's 3 seasons planned of Mesozoic Isle alone. I have a film after those 3 seasons called Mesozoic Seas, which I plan to make. I have Cenozoic Isle and Paleozoic Isle all planned. So there's a whole universe, and then there's short films and stuff that are also canon to the thing. And I have my friend ArtsyDilo. He's also making a canon short film, which is going to be really cool to the series. So there's a whole universe, and that's the Prehistoric Archipelago. The universe is the Prehistoric Archipelago, but this show in particular is about Mesozoic Isle. So this is Mesozoic Isle. The whole universe is Prehistoric Archipelago. Paleozoic Isle sounds cool. Yeah, that one, I'm definitely looking forward to getting around to that one eventually. I saved that one for last, though, because there's not a lot of Paleozoic figures out there right now, so hopefully by the time I get around to it, there'll be a lot more, and we can actually do something with that. The shot where Blue scratches Hercules' body is amazing. How hard was that to do? That was really an awesome scene how it came out. When I was filming, the concept was always there. I didn't know how I'd film it exactly. When I got onto set, I decided that I would, for whatever reason, I had that exact image. How it actually turned out, it was exactly how I imagined it in my mind. I wanted it to be a quick cut where during the motion, it cuts to where the blood is, and it would be a cool shot like that. So in my head, that's exactly what I imagined. However, when I was putting a lot more pressure on the editing. So I just filmed it and I put a lot more pressure on the editing. So when I got around to editing, I forgot that I filmed it that way because I filmed so much. I filmed 15 episodes that are all 30 minutes long. So I forgot that I filmed it exactly that way. And when I got to editing, I'm like, no, and I was freaking out because I'm like, why did I film it this way? It's going to be a pain in the butt. And because the frames were very different, because of the way that the camera's handheld, so it was very different. So what I did is I actually persevered, and I angled, I cropped the shots almost flawlessly, as close as I could, to link up where the feet are. And then as the foot drags down on Hercules' body without the blood, I cut when his foot is motion blurred in the same area to the other shot where the blood's on it. And that's how it turned out. And it just looked great. And I was like, wow, I'm actually really happy with that. That looks amazing. So thankfully, my incredibly ambitious vision actually worked out. But it did put a lot more pressure on me when I was editing, and I was kind of freaking out. I did manage to fix it in like the first 10 minutes that I was trying to do it, though. So it didn't take me very long to figure it out and make it work, like to the extent where it is right now. But I definitely freaked out because I thought it was going to be really difficult to make that work. I was worried I'd have to reshoot it or something. You made a reference. You made a reference of subversion to Land Before Time twice, and subversion to Land Before Time. Exactly what are you referencing though? I'm not recognizing. Maybe the Great Valley. Maybe the name Hidden Valley is what you're thinking. Please tell me what that is. It was not intentional if I did. Make a Anzu character. I have there's Anzu characters planned for some stuff in the future. Not in season 1. I didn't have the figure, and actually I do think I had the figure in time, but I think one thing that unfortunately people have to kind of understand is that while I had some figures and a lot of them are cool, a lot of people, one of the most requested figures I get is the Safari 2017 Feather Tyrannosaurus. Everybody says like, please use that one, please put it in the thing, and I'm like, yes, I love the figure. I have plans for it in the future of Mesozoic Isle. It's not in season 1 because I have a story that I want to tell. The Mesozoic Isle is a story, and that's my first priority. It's not just to show off all the cool figures. Well, a lot of them are really cool, and I'd love to incorporate them, and I will try to incorporate them later. Season 1 is a story, so you're not going to get to see all the figures that you want to see and stuff inside season 1. Hopefully I can, if people keep requesting them, though, then I can definitely try to squeeze those things in if they're not already planned inside future things. But for season 1, a lot of the newer figures and stuff aren't going to really be present because either they were intentionally left out to be representing more accurate animals in the future of the show, or they are just not there because I don't want the character there and the story. It just doesn't work for the story. So it's story's top priority. And that's why a lot of those cool figures, even if I had them, don't make it into the show. I'm hoping to get the Wild Safari Scutosaurus. That one's a really cool one. I'd love to get my hands on that one. Use the collected Dimetrodon and collected Adaphosaurus for Paleozoic Isle. They scale up with each other. Yeah, those ones are definitely ones I'm going to end up using for that. I'm so excited to work with Moses, my Carnegie Giga, because I have a really great story for him. That's dude, like when you come up with a great story, it's just the most exciting thing ever. I love it. I love the feeling. I feel it, man. Go for it. Do it. Your blood and gore in Mesozoic Isle is amazing. Do you have any tips for making our own? Well, thank you for the compliment. I definitely think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think that there's good and poor moments inside the season where some shots are better than others. I think that currently the best blood effects I've seen, just in terms of realism, is that shot from the Dinosaur Island Season 5 trailer of the Giga with the blood on its face. It looks incredible. It looks very chunky. So there's a lot of improvements that I would like to make. But the way I did it inside of this season was I used, I think, grape jam, because when you put it through the light, it's actually red. When it's thinner grape jam, it looks purple in the jar, but when you put it through the light, it's red. And when it thins out, it's like a red color, and it looks deeper and darker and more gory. I usually... I was hiking, so just naturally the jam kind of warmed up in the backpack. You kind of want to have it a little bit lukewarm, so it can kind of like melt like blood. And you just like I used sticks and stuff because I was out in the woods, but you can take a toothbrush or something and just really like paint it. It's like art. You paint the blood on. You paint it with a thought process of where you want the damage to be, how you want the blood to be, but you also have a intentional imperfection to it to make sure it seems natural and not too splotched on there. One of the weaker ones in episode 2 was I don't think the blood looked its best on Hercules' corpse when he was already dead. I think it could have looked a little better. It was a little too consistent and smooth. I probably could have done a little better with that one for sure. But some of the better ones are like when Hercules is dying with all the blood like coming out of his throat, and Rex's shot from the first episode where he's opening up his mouth and the blood's in it. I mean, that looks really cool. So it's just about taking your time with it and kind of painting it. But what I would recommend is maybe trying to, keep it lukewarm, but get a little bit more chunks in there. Have like a little bit more spread to it, really think it out and just kind of paint it. I guess that's the best way to put it. What killed the mama iguanodon? Well, I think you already know. I'm not going to say anything, though. Only peeping for a bit, having fun at Saratoga, though. I don't know what that is. Saratoga, I don't know what that is. But awesome. Have fun, dude. I have my show planned out, and I'm writing a script for all episodes. Shooting starts as soon as the snow falls. You and Gibson are incredibly inspiring, and so could I get some tips? Yeah, sure. I mean, unfortunately, just asking for tips is pretty generic, and it's kind of hard to answer those questions. If you can specify a little bit more, it's a little bit easier for me to give you tips based on certain things. There's a lot of things I could really give you tips on, but I just don't really have the time in the stream, and there's a lot of people to get around to. So if you could ask me a specific question for tips for certain things, then I can definitely answer that. The mom and the kid Apatosaurus, it looked like you were going to kill her off just like the movie. In Land Before Time. Okay, that's what you're talking about. Well, yeah, obviously that's not a parallel then because it didn't happen. But how many episodes are in season 1? 15. A lot. And that's why I'm really trying to increase the upload schedule. Unfortunately, my trip to California and a lot of personal issues, including the narrator change, really slowed down episode 2. But I'm my personal ambitions, I'm really trying to shoot for the end of this month. Early next month is when I'm trying to get the next episode out. I'm trying to slowly increase the rate that the episodes are coming out because I've been definitely having a lot of success with new strategies of actually editing a lot quicker. While with the other episode will the other episode have main focuses and side characters, and also I do believe that Redtooth's arc will lead to him becoming an adult feathered Tyrannosaurus Rex, and he will become the Valley's next successor. Well, that's very interesting. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a lot of surprises in store. That's all I'll say. A lot of people have speculated that Redtooth will grow up into the feathered T-Rex, and I'm just going to say it's a lot less likely than people think it is. That's all I'll say. But and also while season 1 is completely focused on Hidden Valley will be in season 2 and 3, but 2 and 3 will focus more on scattered areas throughout the island. It'll focus more on the island and other areas, not just Hidden Valley. And yeah, there's going to be it's not just going to be about the valley and how the hierarchy goes on from there. That it will continue. Obviously, Hidden Valley, I've already hinted that it will be changed forever by the end of the season 1. And so that will carry on through season 2 and 3. We'll get to kind of see how it evolves from them. But it's definitely going to be not the main focus. It will be a something we will follow and continue, but it's not going to be the primary focus from the rest of this. Hayden, do you know the theme that Gibson used for the Fire and DI season 5 episode 6? I do. I don't. I think he showed me the song on its own, I believe, and I really liked it, but I forget what it is. Do people ever notice you in the woods? Oh yeah. A couple times we were filming like on this rock for some scenes. We can talk about it later in other streams or when I actually filmed that scene, I can talk about it. There's one scene that I filmed on a rock that this trail's right here, and then there's this big rock that's maybe like 15 feet out like that, and maybe like 20 feet out like that. And so it's right there, but people it's like maybe up to their chest, right? So they can see over it, and we're just like crouched down up there playing with dinosaur toys. A lot of people stopped and stared. A lot of people stared at us as they walked by. A lot of people stopped and asked questions. One ranger walked past with a llama, I think, or an alpaca, and he stopped and like kind of was questioning us. He just kind of watched us just to make sure we weren't doing anything illegal or whatever, and then he just like passed on. But we've definitely had countless people look at us and stuff like that. But it's just, I just was like, I don't care. I'm probably never going to see these people again. I'm doing this. I'm going to enjoy it. And I don't care what other people think. And so that's probably, I know, and the reason I'm saying this because a lot of people seem to really struggle with that. And I mean, kind of understandably, you can get embarrassed with that, but I just didn't let it get to me. Big Sads cannot watch this live stream live, just repeating the clip where you say Hercules' corpse. It's just repeating a clip where you say Hercules' corpse. Wait, it is for you? You must be having lag or something. Oof. Let me try to do this. Red Tooth's gonna die. That's an interesting. And also, it seems like I'm really happy because people seem to be split, and this is the intent. I want to make sure that people feel that no character in Mesozoic Isle is safe. That was the reason Hercules was named. That's why he got killed so early. It was to prove that no one is safe, even if they have a name. And so, but I'm really happy that it seems like it's kind of split half and half, that half of the people think that Red Tooth is going to die, half of the people think that he's going to live. So I'm really happy about that because I want it to be like that. Red Tooth will die like how I planned for Chris. Do I believe? My theory is with Jasmine and Red Tooth didn't work out. What was your theory again? I do remember you making a theory. Can you remind me exactly what it was? Because I do want to remember exactly how it went. I have not seen the episode yet. I have been busy with work. Well, then why are you listening to spoilers, man? God, doofus. He's spoiling it for himself. Oh, I forgot. I need to watch more iOS. Red Tooth is not going to be the Safari Rex, but a much less feathered Rex if he survives. I wonder, why would you say that? What is it? Maybe it was like, maybe because a long time ago on one of the streams, I specifically mentioned that Tyrannosaurus forterius lose their feathers as they get older. Wow, that's some information that possibly may or may not be out there that would answer a lot of people's questions on whether or not he turns into the Safari Feather Rex if he lives. That's very funny. I'm hoping that's how you got that, because that would be very that'd make me proud. This may sound weird, but from looking at animals fight for the title for Alpha, do animals feel some sort of ambition? Well, of course. Ambition is a human word, is our description of the emotion. But yes, I mean, I've described Hercules, not Hercules, Cecil, the Alpha of the Bandits, is a very ambitious character, and he is. There's definitely going to be ambitious characters and ambitions for the title of that. But it's not necessarily like exactly how humans think of ambition. It's kind of like how animals are. It's like they have a desire to be in control, be the alpha, have a territory of their own. And so they're naturally going to compete with things like that. Holy crap, I'm really far behind. I asked my friend to help out, and he offered the narrator to show something new, unlike my other attempts. Sweet, dude. I had a little kid scream, Spinosaurus sucks. I have a theory for later seasons, so I think the Vitae Giga will kill Blue and do some sinister stuff to Hidden Valley. Oh, okay. Okay. So you think that I'm going to end up using the Vitae Giga at some point. I love that figure, but it's kind of a valuable one. I have a theory for... Oh, no, that's the same one I read. Gosh, I got to catch up. There's so much. Did you record 2 endings for Red Tooth? That's a tactic actually movie studios use. Oh, like to make sure that I do something with the fans will like? No. I very specifically, I considered multiple endings because he had a specific way his story went originally. I changed it pretty drastically. Most of season 1 is like the plot points and story beats are very similar to the original version. It's very similar, and you'll get to see that as we like finish the season. I'll get to explain that a little bit more. But Red Tooth is one of the characters that definitely changed the most, and I considered multiple different endings with him. I definitely considered it up a lot, but I did not film alternate endings. My tactic is it's my story. I want to make sure it goes the way I want it to. I'm not going to change it I'm not going to change it drastically on what people want. Obviously I'll take feedback and criticism and stuff like that, but it's still a story that I want to tell. And I think that people are going to enjoy it regardless. I hope that people will enjoy it regardless, but I definitely dedicated to my decisions. So I'm not filming alternate versions of anything that I'm going to switch out just to make sure I appease for people. If that was the case, I think I wouldn't even need to, because just if I wanted to make the most people happy, I think it's only one obvious answer. But I'm just definitely doing what I wanted to do with the story from the start, and I'm not filming alternate stuff. Okay, if Red Tooth is unlikely to grow up, I speculate that he will grow and then die as a subadult killed by the bandits. Oof. That's an interesting one. Actually, originally in season 1, Red Tooth was a subadult. He wasn't a juvenile, like an infant. That's another reason why I completely rewrote his character. In the original version of the script, he was played by a Chinosaur that's a red Tyrannosaurus, and it's a little bit taller. It's maybe like 3 times the size of Red Tooth right now. And he was able to contend with a lot more animals. He was able to play a little bit more active into the plot, and he actually did have engaging conflicts with other characters. But when I found that figure, this one, I thought it was perfect for him, and it would make him so much more unique. I thought it was adorable, and I wanted to change it, and so I changed his whole story around this and made him very unique. He's a Tyrannosaurus character that doesn't have a big part in the plot. He's more of a spectator. He's more of our window into a bunch of things that happen in there, but he doesn't take an active part in the plot. He has his own story, but he's not a big part of the actual plot that goes on, like the actual story beats and what actually occurs in the territory. He doesn't have a big effect on that because he's a little baby. And so I think it makes him really unique. And I'm really happy I made that change. So he's not going to be having conflicts with other animals and where he's actually fighting them and stuff like that. That was completely written out. And that's one of the biggest changes I made to him. So yeah, he's really different, quite a different character from what he originally was in season 1. So what's the episode that has a great battle with that awesome scene? I don't mean to say any spoilers, but also there will be a rivalry between Blue or Rex with Kate. I think you're talking about one of the ones I hinted at before. There's so many ones. One of my favorite episodes and scenes is, I think, the one you're talking about. I'm not going to say exactly when it is, but there's 2 episodes towards the center of the season which are big turning points, and I just love those episodes. They're epic and action-packed. Episode 5, it's going to consistently increase in action up until episode 5, and that's going to be our first big thing where you're talking about right now, where it's really going to be chaotic. And some really fun stuff is going to go down. I mean, also that's the episode where the Monster Commanderus Rex shows up. So, yeah, but that's where a lot of the chaos is going to start. And then from there, it's like chaos. And then it goes into the turning point, which is the most devastating and biggest turning point inside of the season, obviously. And then we go on to the rest of it. And so it's really cool, but we're going to be increasingly the story is increasing in chaos. And I think, and what I'm trying to say is that episode 5 is what you're really looking forward to. Is that's when it's really you're going to start getting that really fun, chaotic stuff that you're looking for. To be honest, I think I want to make the theme that I showed you a while back a personal theme for a character. That would be cool. Actually make themes for different types of characters. I approve. Okay, that's a demand, but still, I don't know what you're talking about. My theory is that have a goddamn Spino. There is a Spino character in this season. All 3 of the big 3 theropods are all represented. We have Blue, we have Rex, and we have Blaze, the Spinosaurus, which will show up later. He's been in the trailer, so we have the Carnegie Spino that's in there. Hey, and you got the Papo Spino in the prologue. You got see a little bit of that guy. So, yeah, but Blaze will come into play later. So there is going to be a Spino. I don't know if I want to get some more collective figures or get more 2019 Safari figures because I have one 2019 Safari figure. I don't know. They're both pretty good lines this year. I really want to get the Carno, the collective Carno. Oh my goodness, that one I want so bad. I love the amount of detail you put into this universe you created. So I'm assuming that with the coming seasons, new dinosaurs, more accurate dinosaurs will be added to the island. Yes, and because they're created by humans, they are limited to the knowledge of the time. That's why we have these inaccurate dinosaurs and stuff like that. That's why I'm saving certain figures like the feathered Tyrannosaurus, the 2018 trike. I have a Triceratops herd. I've had that trike, but I didn't want to use that trike because the 2018 Safari trike is very accurate. So I'm saving that for later on in the show that I can represent more accurate Triceratops. So they actually have a visual difference to the other ones and stuff. And actually, as the show goes on more, we're going to have more of like duplicate figures, but with repaints to make them look completely unique. And so that the species start to kind of look a little bit more consistent too. Really, it's going to become quite a production. But I did put a lot of tons of work. Like when I restructured the whole show, I put a whole lore foundation. There's a really great background to it. Currently, the website, Prehistoric Archipelago website, there's an official website that will have a bunch of lore and stuff you can dig into the shows and stuff, and I will be gradually updating that as the shows go on, or as the season goes on and stuff. And after season 1's over, I think it'll be pretty filled out, and then we can update it as new seasons and things come out. So that one's going to be coming out very soon. I plan to definitely release that. That I can say with very strong confidence that will at least, at the latest, be released with episode 3. So when episode 3 comes out, that website will be available. It's almost done right now. I'm going to try to release it earlier, so you guys have some more stuff to go through. But yeah, there's going to be tons of lore you can dig through. Currently, there's it's a whole like encyclopedia about all this lore stuff you can dig into the series and really get out as much as you want. And I just finished the Tyrannosaurus page, which educates you a lot about Tyrannosaurus on the island. But it does kind of educate you more of how they currently are, because keep in mind, season 1 of Mesozoic Isle takes place in 2013, I believe. I think it's 2013, not 2014. So this happened a long time ago. They filmed it, and it's just happened a long time ago. So when you're on the website, a lot of the information, except spoiler stuff, like for characters and stuff, that's not updated to modern stuff. But for like the species profiles, it tells you more about what the genus is like right now on the island. And before, you can read into the past of it too, like when the season was going on. So for the Tyrannosaurus page, you can read a lot about Tyrannosaurus primus and Statutomus and stuff. But right now, the population is more salubrious based, and so you get to learn a lot more about that. I'm dropping a lot of words, but there's going to be a website. You can learn a lot more about it with little factoids and stuff, and there's going to be a website where you can find all that information. Which is going to be really fun, because I really love the idea of the website where you can just finally have one place to go to where you can find all the information you need and want on the show. Obviously, at the beginning, it's going to be kind of vacant, and not everything's going to be filled out quite yet, but it will be updated pretty consistently. I'm still surprised no one saw Red Tooth with the Allosaurus in the second trailer. Yeah, that is something that not many people have noticed. J212 did notice something, that inside the second trailer, there's a shot with Red Tooth in the background and 2 Allosaurus in the same shot as him, and something chaotic is going down. So that may or may not be occurring somewhere near episode 5 when I'm talking about the chaos. But yeah, it is not worth hunting prey that knows your presence. My favorite line. Yeah, I really tried to add a lot of personality and realism and kind of like explanations, realistic explanations to some of the behaviors of the animals inside there. But a lot of the stuff is very subtle. There's a ton of subtle storytelling. There's a ton of Easter eggs. There's a ton of little things that people can pick up on and speculate as the show goes on. It's going to be really fun. There's already been so many little things dropped that nobody's been picking up on that are going to be really interesting. And even for like the future of the show and just for speculating things on further on, there's been so many things foreshadowed and stuff. It's really fun. So there's a lot of really subtle things. I love creating those deep stories. It's really fun to actually add all those layers to it, and especially it's really rewarding when actual people like catch on to them. So I think Alex is going to fall off a cliff next episode. That's one of my favorite teaser shots. That is my favorite teaser shot for the next episode, is just Alex inside all that dirt. It looks so crazy and rambunctious, and I love that shot. When the song Kiki Do You Love Me came out, were you happy? No. Because it became a meme constantly, people saying that. And it came out after I was already doing a lot of live streams and stuff. And so it just kind of randomly popped up. And I was like, why are people saying this? And then somebody said it was a Drake song. And I'm like, God dang you, Drake. Why did you do this to me? You cursed me. Any ideas on how to improve Island of the Mesozoic shot-wise? Well, obviously, you could try to keep always try to make sure you're on top of your focus game. That's something even I was struggling with in the earlier days of shooting, and I still get wrong occasionally. So that's a tough one. But obviously, always stay on top of that. Now, here's my personal opinion. Let me get some water, because my throat's getting really dry. Angles are a very important factor in shooting your story. Now, let me actually scroll down so I can kind of catch up with everything. Angles are a very important factor to any story. And I love how Gibson is really trying to show that power and size of his dinosaurs and shooting them always from really low. But if I've told him this myself, but if I'm being completely honest, I think he does it a little too much. I think it's great to do that, but I think in general, these animals should be shot in a way that still makes them feel like of a size, but more parallel. More consistently, I think that the camera and the story should be told parallel with the story, so we actually feel like we're on their level. We're with them. These are our characters. Now, we're not spectating them. We're with them. We're engaged in the story. We're a part of the story. Right? That's why you want to be with them on their level. The level and angle that you shoot your shot has a lot to do with how the character feels, how you feel about the character. And so if you're on their level, you're increasing the viewer's connection with them. Then when you do those shots where you're looking up at an animal, it makes them feel more powerful. It makes them feel more impactful. And those moments stand out more because not the entire show is filmed like that. And then when you shoot down on smaller characters, it makes them feel smaller, it makes them feel more vulnerable, it makes them feel more weak. And those angles can be more useful and more impactful if the whole show is more consistently on a parallel with the animals. I think that you should kind of try to find that medium, which was what I was trying to do. I definitely don't do my best in some areas. I think I could have done better in some, for sure. I think overall I do a fairly good job, especially as the show goes on. But in my personal opinion, I think that you should try to film more on the level with the animals and use those other shots more sparingly and for bigger effect. And maybe not do it as much as Gibson does it. I think Gibson does an amazing job. It's a very great and unique style. I'm not saying that he should change it. He should definitely finish the rest of the season the way that he's done it. And I think it's fantastic. It works. But just in my personal opinion, I kind of prefer the camera on the level plane with the animals, and then use those other shots for more diverse and more specified types of moments. So that's my tip shot-wise. I'm relating after the end credits of episode 15, there will be a cameo for the hybrid. I think you mean hybrid. Well, we'll have to see. I have a theory. Islands from MI and DI are the same island, but in different timelines, MI being the prequel. Main thing to my theory true is Patty MI. She's a baby. In DI, she is an adult. Well, that's a theory, but I can more than solidly confirm that DI and MI are not in the same universe. They have very different origins and population kind of effects. The islands look very different. They're not in the same universe, but it would be kind of cool to be able to link them in with each other in some way. But yeah, but personally, I don't want them to be connected either, because DI has its own fantastic canon that I think is great with itself, and MI has its own built-up canon, and I don't think that they're supposed to overlap and connect. They weren't designed that way, and that you would lose certain aspects with Dinosaur Island that you have with MI, and you lose certain aspects of the MI if you put it into Dinosaur Island. And Dinosaur Island is also about animals that were evolved on that island that have survived the KT extinction. MI is more of a science fiction thing with humans creating the animals. I might buy the merch. Dude, awesome. That would help support the show immensely. I feel that Papospinosaurus might get backed off by the Dinosuchus in this season in a territorial battle. So you think that the Papospino is actually going to show up in season 1? Okay. Okay. Well, so far all we've seen of him in the trailers was a shot of his foot in the prologue episode. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. The website needs to be more colorful, though it's wordy and bland. I can kind of see where you're coming from. I kind of like the style to it. It feels a little bit more professional and more fact-based, less than artistic. It's more functional rather than artistic. I would like to give it a facelift at some point, maybe make it a little bit more flashy, but I currently like it the way it is. Is the website almost done? It is almost. It's not almost done, but it's almost releasable. I'm creating a foundation right now. I'm making all the different pages and all the layers that I need to make for the website, and I'm creating the foundation for it so that I can easily add new pages in and new facts in as the website is on. And then there's a news section that will keep you updated on what's been updated on the site and stuff like that, and you can kind of use it that way. So it's not going to be done for a while. I don't think it'll ever be done because there's going to be constantly being information added. There will be times where I catch up. I hope to catch up with season 1. Once season 1 is done, I want to catch up and have all the information that I need accessible from season 1 on the website. That would be nice. I'll catch up with the information, but it's never going to be fully done because it's always going to be growing. I hope in Cenozoic Isle, the Safari Hyaenodon Gigas is going to fight the Collect Andrew Sarkis. Yet again, I don't know much about that at this point. I have general ideas, but it's so far off. I've been kind of intentionally not thinking about it too much because I want to be able to reserve that writing for when I'm actually ready for it. Not blue in a space-time traveling animal from MI to DI. Hell yeah. I felt bad for Jasmine. Seeing animals starve is rough for me to see. It is tough. I love Jasmine. She's one of my favorite characters as the season goes on. She's like, oh my god, I love her so much. She's got such a great presence to her. She's got a very unique story. And yeah, I think that she's hopefully she'll become a character that people like a lot. Jasmine's definitely a great one. Hey, do you know who the Burnham is? I don't know what you're talking about. Kiki, have you killed the Acro? You have offended my state of Oklahoma. Prepare to die. Oh dang. I will just have Blue protect me and he'll kick your butt. No, but yeah, that was one of my favorite decisions of the episode, actually. So fight me. I'm just playing around. Finally caught up, and I get hit with a lag spike. I'm gonna build a cell tower in this uncivilized state. Things to look for in MIDI, Titans of Acropolis, and Yacht Island. The shot Alex in the dirt reminds me of Kamunga. It does. Don't forget DIR Season 4, Jay. Yeah, Jay did that DIR Season 4. That is going to be freaking intense. I'm so excited for DIR Season 4. That's going to be awesome. Okay, I'm releasing a new teaser for Monday next week, so let me know your thoughts on that. Cool. Dang, I finally caught up with the chat. Ugh. Min Valley is a club in Rex and Blue are the bouncers. It's a lot like that, isn't it? Paleozoic Isle has the Paleozoic animals, but Mesozoic Isle has Dimetrodon. Also, in my opinion, the show must end in Mesozoic Isle. The show must end. Well, Mesozoic Isle has always been intended to be 3 seasons. It's and at this point, I actually have a 3-season arc that it's a one-piece story. Mesozoic Isle, once the 3 seasons are up, it is done. Mesozoic Isle, the story of Mesozoic Isle is done. We will return to Mesozoic Isle with short films and stuff like that. That'll be cool, like little film ideas that I have that we can just maybe follow like one character with a story or something like that. But in terms of seasons, it'll be done, 100% just finished. It has a solid ending that I do not want to continue with after Mesozoic Isle Season 3 is finished. Cenozoic Isle and Paleozoic Isle are different things. Obviously, they're different islands. To answer the other question about the Dimetrodon, simply the scientists that were making all the animals, they wanted Dimetrodon's a famous animal, and they wanted to play around with Dimetrodon, but they obviously didn't have another island to put it on, so they just managed to figure out a way to squeeze Dimetrodon in to Mesozoic Isle. So we have a couple Paleozoic animals that live on Mesozoic Isle, like Inostransevia and Dimetrodon, and those animals are definitely obscure. But once Cenozoic Isle and Paleozoic Isle are created and terraformed, then those animals are taken off the island and moved over there. Who is your favorite character, or let me actually make sure I don't skip over anything. I didn't. Okay. Who is your favorite character, Aiden? If your favorite character isn't able to be revealed, only state your favorite character that is revealed so far. Oh, no. I can reveal my favorite character. I've said this many times. Kate, the Carcharodontosaurus, she's in the trailers. I've been hyping her up a bunch. She's an antagonist for this season. You'll get to meet her sometime soon. Kate is my favorite character in this season. I love her so much because of the writing aspect of her. All the subtle intricacies of her character are just so fascinating to me. I love who she is as a character. I love her motivations. She's an antagonist. You're not supposed to like her. But as a writer, I just love her. I love how I wrote her. And my favorite part of her, the main reason I love her, is her origin story. Unfortunately, I don't tell that in season 1 because I don't want people to sympathize with her. She needs to be an antagonist that people don't sympathize with, but her origin story will be revealed in external media. I have some ideas. I definitely will be releasing it on the website. That will be revealed there, and possibly a separate origin short film or something of sorts may be in the works to explain her background story. I have various different ideas of explaining that, but her origin story is definitely my favorite part of her character. I just adore her so much. She's by far my favorite character of season 1. Yeah, but you haven't seen her yet. And I already know that certain people, because she's such a subtle character and she has such depth to her, a lot of it's going to be surface area. So some people are probably going to question why she's my favorite. But yet again, it's going to be pretty difficult to understand if you don't know everything immediately. Once the season's over, I think you'll know a little bit more. Once her background story is revealed, then it'll be really understandable. Will that amazing new Collecta Adaphosaurus be appearing in Paleozoic Isle? For sure. For sure. I definitely am going to be using the Adaphosaurus in Paleozoic Isle. I can't remember if I publicly released the name of my Safari UT yet, but I know I've teased it, so I'm tempted to name drop him. Well, go for it, dude. Red Tooth versus Blue. Oh, that's a fair fight. Also, I can't believe that as of yet, people are not shipping Blue with Rex or Alex with George. That is very interesting. I'm actually surprised that as well. I'm actually surprised we haven't gotten more ship things like that. I'm kind of fortunate. I'm happy it's not happening. But maybe you will do some prequels to MI. One of the things that I never wanted to do was prequels because I wanted the lore-wise, really the cameras and stuff like that to be really filmed. Only really being started to film with season 1, and stuff before that just wouldn't happen. However, the more and more that time passes, I'm really considering doing an origin film with a very specific style, like maybe like trail cams and stuff, like a short film that tells the origin story of Hidden Valley and how Blue and Rex first met. If that's something that a lot of people really want and demand, I may do that after season 1 is done. I may go and film that, and I'll make one. And also, we'll get to learn how Rex lost his arm. A lot of cool stuff like that. So I don't even know a lot of the things that would happen to that because I've been purposely avoiding coming up with a story because I don't want to make up a story for something that I'm just not going to make. So I'm just going to wait, and we'll see after the season's done if a lot of people want me to make an origin story or a prequel story to tell how Hidden Valley was originally structured and how Blue and Rex met, then that will be something that I'd love to get into. But as of right now, no prequels are really planned. Also, I can't. I already read that. I was gonna make season 1 of Extinct Isle, 14 episodes, plus in episode 02. I was in a length of at least episode, but not because of skillful editing or pacing. It slows you down, man. It's tough. I have a unique idea for my series. The island is next to Australia as an invasive black rats that will have been brought through British ships. Oh, that's pretty cool. So it's kind of like Yukon Island, where it's got a lot of human effects on the island because of it being set in modern day. Aiden, who is your favorite DI character? My favorite character is Jane. She's also my favorite character in the entire DI canon. My favorite DI character. I loved Dark Claw. Dark Claw, I really liked him a lot. Jane is one of my favorites because the current way that she's handled. It's tough. Little Tyrant is probably the one that sticks with me the most. because the end of his story was so incredibly bold to me, and I loved it. I loved how he had the kid die. Like the last one I thought was going to die was the kid out of the whole pack. And it was incredible and very bold. And I thought that was a fantastic story beat. I thought he handled it really well in season 3. So it's between Little Tyrant, Jane, Dark Claw. The Giga characters in season 5 are pretty cool too. I like those ones a lot. So yeah, those are probably my top picks. I can't really pick for sure, but if you want me to pick one, I'll say Little Tyrant. If you want me to really pick one, then I'll say Little Tyrant is. Which I don't like Tyrant in DIR. I don't like that he was brought back. That is probably my least favorite thing about DIR is that he brought back Little Tyrant. I really wish he would have stayed dead because that was one of my favorite features of him. My favorite thing about Little Tyrant is that he died. No, it was a fantastic scene, and it's really why I connected with him because I thought it was a really well done moment, and I just really loved how that character's story went, and it was really tragic but very well written. And I, as a writer myself and somebody who's fascinated by telling engaging stories, I thought that was fantastic and by far sticks with me the most out of Dinosaur Island. We are too busy shipping Godzilla and Mothra, duh. If you want to know something, Safari has a sale on their site for their Nasutoceratops. Oh, that's pretty cool. Wait, Rex is missing an arm. He's missing a hand, I should have said. I don't know if I actually said arm, but yeah, he's missing a hand. He doesn't have one hand, and that's because I damaged him when I was younger, but it's a canon thing. He's got a missing arm. He's got a missing hand. And no, I don't even know how he lost his arm. All I know is he lost it, or he lost his hand. I don't know. I have not come up with it because I only want to come up with it if I know that I'm going to make his or the prequel story, and I'll come up with some cool story to it. But yeah, that's not something that was planned at all because I never intended on doing prequels. I just was going to leave it ambiguous. He's an old guy. He's run a gauntlet. He's run the gauntlet with his life, and so there's a lot of tough stuff he's been through. First, we all know that prequels are 10 out of 100 bad. Also, I laughed that one of the bandits is called Morrison. Yeah, Morrison, Estes, and Cecil. Cecil, he's named that because it's kind of alliteration with Ceratosaurus. Estes and Morrison are things in Colorado, which is where Ceratosaurus is primarily found. So you have Morrison Formation, and you have Estes, which is Estes Park, Colorado, which is actually somewhere I drove through to get to the place where I filmed Mesozoic. So yeah, they have some pretty cool names. I really like them a lot. Usually prequels, the problem I have with prequels is that it's harder to get invested in prequels because you already know what happens, and especially if they're dealing with characters that were already there, then you are just basically telling a story that you already know the general ending to, so there's not much point to it. The way that the story that I would do a prequel with Rex and Blue is I would do it in more of like a documentary-esque, just as like a little thing for the fans. It would be very short. It would be a very short film, like a short film. But it would also be kind of filmed like a trail cam-y style because I still wanted to kind of keep it the lore that really only good high-quality cameras and filmmakers were filming the island for season 1. That was intended. They actually planned all that. And so before that, there's just not really that great stuff. So it'd be kind of more like security cams and stuff like that would be filmed for a prequel with them. And so that's kind of the way I would deal with it, and I would just kind of do it more as like a little factoid and information thing for the fans, not really like supposed to be a super engaging story, because I completely agree that it's really hard to nail a prequel. This goddamn lag is almost a minute and a half behind its show main some 21st century. No cursing. I'm removing that comment. There's no cursing in here, bud. Tyrant is second favorite character. I think Cameron made his story very interesting. Yeah, Cameron did a good job with what he did with him, but I just wish Tyrant was a different character. I just wish he had a different name, and I wish he was not Little Tyrant, because it ruined that magical moment that I loved about season 3. And it really could have been any other character. It didn't need to be Little Tyrant. That was kind of like him pulling out a character just so that he could use a fan favorite character and somebody who's already there. And he was trying to do something cool, which I appreciate. I'm not hating on Cameron, guys. I love Cameron. I've even told this to his face. I didn't like that he's done that with Tyrant. But yeah, that's just unfortunate. But I try to decanonize. I try to think of Tyrant as a different character because I just love the idea of how season 3 handled little Tyrant. So yeah, Blue will fight Mecha Blue in season 2. Yes, Mecha Blue. I'll make a Lego Blue, and that'll be Mecha Blue. Do you like DIR or DI? Oh, I love DI, and I love DIR. DIR is really great as well. I think way too many people hate on DIR. It's a really fantastic story overall. I think he does a good job with it as a whole. It's a little too anthropomorphic for me, but I get into it. I can accept it for what it is, and I can get into it. And I enjoy a lot of aspects of it. I enjoyed watching it. I'm really looking forward to season 4. I think season 4 is going to be something so different and so unique. But yeah, and I love Dinosaur Island. I mean, Dinosaur Island is the reason I made Mesozoic Island. It was my inspiration. So of course I like Dinosaur Island. Silas and Jasper are my favorite DI characters. Those are some pretty classic ones. A lot of people like them. Let me guess. Kate is kind of inspired, at least her origin, by Little Tyrant. No. That's actually not true. That would have been pretty cool, but no. She's actually nothing. She's not inspired by that at all. So Kate is actually 100% original. I came up with everything for her on my own. She's not inspired by anybody. And she was written into the story really early on, way before season 4 ever was released. So I was actually like the first person to really write or one of the first people. Yeah, because I think, no, DIR didn't have it yet. When I wrote Kate as an antagonist, Carcharodontosaurus antagonists were not a trend or a cliche at the time. So I just kind of fell into a poor timing. That Kate happens to be an antagonist and she's a Carcharodontosaurus. But I think that she's still pretty interesting and makes her very unique for the way that she is herself. But yeah. My most hated part of DIR is making Red Sail like the Spinosaurus abomination of Jurassic Park 3. However, we've seen that Tyrant beat him up in episode where Spinos teamed up to make him flee. That's my favorite part. I honestly love how he treated Red Sail the most. I'm sorry. That's just me. I thought it was very interesting. He took him in a very bold, interesting direction. He tried to do something new with Red Sail, which I'm going to be 100% honest. Red Sail is one of the most overrated Dinosaur Island characters until DIR, which is when he was hated. I think that Red Sail was kind of flat. I never was really super interested in him. But DIR made him very interesting to me. He made him very unique. He gave him a very unique twist on his story and how he handled his issues, and I loved it. That was one of my favorite parts of Dinosaur Island Revival. That's just me. But an Abomination, I disagree with. I like how they handled Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3 because I thought it was something very unique and different. And I'm sick of everybody just treating T-Rex like the only big carnivore. And even though it's completely inaccurate and T-Rex would school a Tyrannosaurus in a fight in real life, I think it was really cool that Jurassic Park went that route. So I like what Cameron was doing with it. I thought it was very unique and different. And you don't want stories to continuously do the same thing. You want them to be different. You want them to make you feel something, because if they're all the same, there's no point in even making them. Which is unfortunately what I think a lot of Dinosaur Island shows fall in, like the smaller ones that don't get as much attention. A lot of them tend to accidentally just fall into too many tropes, and they don't stand out, and that's why they don't get as much attention. So if I were to give you any of you guys tips, try to really do unique things, do bold things, try to make something creative and interesting, something that engages you, makes you excited about the possibility of something different. And making your audience terrified or heartbroken is not a bad thing. If you emotionally engage your audience, like in the right ways, there's a right way to heartbreak your audience. There's a right way to anger your audience. Obviously, you don't want them to be angry at the way that you're doing the show. You don't want them to be heartbroken that you ruined the show, but making them feel connected and actually having a set path through the story is something you always want to try to achieve. Now that I think about it, and Red Sail DIR needs to die, a reality check would be awesome. DIR or make more accurate. Yeah, a lot of characters do kind of feel like they have some plot armor in DIR. I will give you that. Why did you choose blue for Apex Predator? Well, there's a variety of reasons. For one, I always loved Giganotosaurus, and I got this figure and I just loved it, and I was like, yes, Giganotosaurus, this figure's so cool, and I really wanted to show it off. And so I wanted to have this one as a bigger focus inside my show, because they do show up a bit, but I mean, this figure isn't typically a big focus, and Giganotosaurus in general aren't a big focus. I still love my T-Rexes, and I wanted to have T-Rex characters, but I wanted to really try something different and have a Giganotosaurus be not just an antagonist, but a protagonist, and be the top dog in at least this situation. So it was just kind of something different and unique, and I also love Giganotosaurus, so I thought it would be fun to do it with a figure that I really love. And so I think I kind of get the best of both worlds. We have both of these big boys, and they're being treated very differently. Spinosaurus isn't treated in the same light because I treat Spinosaurus more like how I think Spinosaurus should be treated, which is it's a lot more docile of a animal. It's something that's a lot more gracile. It spends more time to itself. It's not really a combat animal, and so in Mesozoic Isle, it's unlike Dinosaur Island where they're kind of engaging with Tyrannosaurus. I really wanted the Giganotosaurus and T-Rex to be more on an even playing field. Giganotosaurus, T-Rex, Carcharodontosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, those are all the big guys that are kind of more combat-based animals on Mesozoic Isle. And the Spinosaurus is big and it can defend itself, but it's not really engaging in a lot of those conflicts, and it spends more of its time doing its own thing, so it's a little bit more unique from just kind of, I guess, Jurassic Parkifying the Spinosaurus. So yeah, that's kind of the way I went about it. But all of them get pretty good interpretations, in my opinion. Hey, I got the baby Apatosaurus, or baby Sphaerosaurus from a while back. Really rare. Oh, dude, I really want that one. True, but Gibson making Jane a different Tyrannosaurus is making Jane a different Tyrannosaurus. She's the new and awesome mascot, but with Rose is making her feel like an underdog and her rising. I love what he's done with Jane so much in this season. I made a whole community post just kind of like doing a little tangent on how much I think that people are not respecting Jane enough. I don't like what he did with her in season 4. He doesn't like what he did with her in season 4. We acknowledge that, but he's moved on. He's really tried to counteract that, and I love what he's doing with her in season 5. I think it's really great. My favorite DI characters are Jane, Shredder. Shredder has a lot of potential. Yeah, Shredder's pretty cool. He actually is a pretty underrated one. I don't think it's car antagonists that are a cliche, but most of the big theropod antagonists in general, they appear to take over an ecosystem, kill a few characters, then die. Same old stuff. Yeah, that's I guess that's, well, I don't think it's a cliche for that to happen. I mean, maybe the order and the way that things happen, yeah, that can be a cliche. But just having a theropod do that, I mean, that's kind of a natural role. Like, there's going to be competition for Carcharodontosaurids, or not, theropods. There's going to be competition with theropods. Theropods are obviously a very natural antagonist, and something that feels very realistic because they're meat eaters, so they're obviously going to be eating other individuals, other characters, and so it's kind of easy for that to go in there. So I mean, it's kind of natural. Like it'd be that's kind of like, I mean, I get what you're saying with the way it happens. I completely agree with you that, but just saying that it's just big theropods in general, it's kind of like saying like, well, oh, humans shooting at other humans in war movies is a cliche. It's like, it's a war movie. It's supposed to be like that. Naturally, humans are going to try to kill each other. It's just what they do. So that's kind of like my thinking, is that the theropod thing, where theropods are commonly antagonists, I think that's just a natural thing. And I don't think that's something that's negative, because it feels natural and it feels like something. Obviously, I encourage you to try to make like a thing where just the herbivores are antagonists. I definitely tried that out with some of the characters. In season 2, I have a whole story where just the herbivores are the antagonists. So it's I definitely try around some other little things, but if Blue gets a mate, it will be Eofauna Giga. They do actually look a lot similar. Gibson's always late, apparently. Who's the worst DI villain in your opinion? Well, I don't know. It's probably something in season 1 or 2, if I'm being honest. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I don't even have an idea, to be honest. I don't know if I can. I'm trying to think. Fang and Caroline were all right, though. I kind of liked them. I was all right with them. I didn't really hate them, and I loved Dark Claw. Season 5 is great. I don't really have any problems with that. I mean, what is it? Rogue and Cleo? Is that what they are, Gibson? Or that's what the Ceratosauruses are? Those ones are kind of but I mean, they work. I don't have any problems with them. They're not like special, but they work. I don't have any problems with them. It's probably something in season 1 or 2. I don't know. It's been so long since I've seen it. I've only seen season 1 and 2 once each. Season 1, I've seen parts of it twice because I watched Eric or Dino Man review them. But other than that, I've only seen season 1 and 2 once each. I've only seen those seasons 1 each. And then I've seen season 3. I've watched that one a couple times because I love that one. And I was catching up to season 3. Season 3 is fantastic. You missed all my compliments to Little Tyrant again, but you already know what I'm talking about, Gibson, because I've already told you how much I love the Little Tyrant thing. I think I'm doing something interesting as a T-Rex is the only master predator on the island, as Spino and Giga were never made because we have a better understanding of T-Rex, so it was safer to make. That's fair enough. That's a pretty good lore excuse. Kiki, meat eaters, me carnivores. Yeah, I could have said carnivores. Yeah, I probably should have said carnivores. And Arya is growing on me. She's quite a bit of potential. I thought I was gonna love Arya. I think she's all right, but I don't think I'm not super engaged with her currently. Her story's kind of slow. And I think maybe her introduction definitely could have helped her if it was done a little bit better. I've told Gibson about this before, but I didn't really care for the way that she was kind of introduced and made. I get what she was trying to go for, but just something about it made her feel very useless. And she didn't have an initial hook to me that draw me in like, oh, she's an interesting character and this is why we should follow her. So I'm still waiting. I'm really hoping for her. I don't think she's bad. I think she's better than most Dinosaur Island characters. I'm not super... I was just a little disappointed because she wasn't. I'm a huge Allosaurus fan, and she wasn't, I guess, my favorite of the season. That's the only way that she was disappointing, though. It was once said that there are 2 types of stories: a story, a new mysterious person comes to town, or a protagonist leaves town to a mysterious new land. Yeah, that's a pretty good way of summing it up. There's always got to be something new to an element of story. It seems like DI type series usually tackle the former. Makes me wonder what could be done with the latter. Definitely something that I know I play around with in season 2 especially, but I definitely agree. I think that one is definitely less done, where someone goes into a new environment than other things coming into an old one. That one's definitely more usual. And you can't even say that's because that's more common in nature, because it's all perspective. If you told the story from the perspective of somebody like Darkclaw, who came into a new environment, then it would be a story about a character going into a new environment. If you're telling it from the perspective of the Raptors, like you were, and the other characters, then it's a character coming into their town. So it's really perspective. And I think the perspective can change a lot. I love what Gibson did with Jane in DI Season 4. She watched her parents die. She was raised by Nigel and a sub-adult. She and Nigel fought Fang, Caroline, Evolution. See, my reason I don't like Jane's story in that one is because it's very fan servicey. It's too fan servicey. It's fan servicey in the negative ways, where it felt like I get what Gibson was doing, but I kind of wasn't really that excited when I saw Nigel come out. Oh, 1 second. I need to. I'm sorry about that. I had to take a phone call for a job I was applying to. So, all right, what was I saying? It was fan servicey in the negative way that I think that it was doing things just because they're really cool. Like I've been tempted into things before. Like I'll be like, oh, it'd be so nice for this and that because it's happy. Like, oh, Nigel and Jane meeting up, that's great. But like, I feel like it was handled incorrectly because I guess it was too predictable. I guess that's my main thing. I forget what I was trying to say. I lost my thought completely. I'm sorry. But Gibson already knows what I'm talking about. I've talked to him about it before. Hopefully you understand too. Ernest and Doyle, and this is becoming a Dinosaur Island discussion. Let's get back on track to episode 2. I love talking about Dinosaur Island, but that's for Gibson's streams. Her story is super uneventful this season. Thankfully, my future plans for her are some of my favorites. Arya, that is. Heckin' spoilers, boy, that she lives through the season. Did you just do that again? Now, I like the Dinosaur Island Season 1 more than Season 3 because DI Season 1 was more nostalgic and childish creative start. I'm not saying this is because Grant died, but DI Season 1 was just nostalgic, and that is superior to DI Season... well, I don't like using nostalgia as a main factor, personally. Nostalgia is, it's great, a great feeling and stuff, but it's connected to humans' innate... and discomfort with change. So things that are familiar feel nostalgic to us. They feel comfortable. We feel happy to be around them. I try to look past that because I like change. Change is something important in life. Change is something that is essential to just continuing. It's something that happens every day. And I think that's that's really the real way you need to tell stories. Stories are about change. They're about humans. They're about people. They're about change. And so I think that basing your main critique on, if you like it the most, that's great. I'm not critiquing. If you like that the most, good for you. I'm happy with that. But I'm saying that DI Season 1 is superior to Dinosaur Island Season 3 by nostalgia standards is kind of ridiculous to me. Because I don't think that's fair at all. I think Dinosaur Island Season 3 is by far objectively superior. Just objectively. The storytelling is fantastic. It tells a great story. It's much more engaging for the audience. You feel like the characters are much more under threat in that season. Season 1 is fantastic. I love watching back with Dynaman's videos because it's really fun to see where Gibson started in the very child fun nature. It brings me back to my days of childhood. But I don't think that saying it's superior, just objectively superior, is. I think that's kind of unfair. I didn't that. Gibbo is careful with his words today. Who are you talking about? Let's spam broccoli like we do with Gibson. My goodness. Didn't say that. You didn't say what? I don't know. I think you're probably talking about something else. I don't think you're talking about my comment that you just spoiled that Arya lives. Do you think that there are any type of DI type shows that a bad character had potential? One that sticks out to me is Blizzard. Even Gibson hasn't put him back in Dinosaur Island because he thinks it's a bad character. So much potential there. I loved you, Tyrannus. Gibson loves you, Tyrannus. Blizzard had so much potential, but yeah, he was pretty poor. He didn't really do much, so I guess that one. Oh, I see what you're saying, Gibson. You never said season 6. You said her story is super uneventful this season. You said, you put it in your own words, Gibson. You said her story is super uneventful this season. Thankfully, my future plans for her are some of my favorites. You said this season. Like, maybe you mean this season so far? If you meant that, then you should have worded it that way. But you didn't. That's what I'm saying. Don't you get all snappy and sassy with me, boy. I'll spank you. I really liked the Ceratosaurus introduction in episode 2. It looked really good. Well, thank you. I'm really happy about that too, because the bandits are very important. They're gonna be big players inside the story going forward. Most people have been hanging up on Kate, but the bandits, I think, are just as much, if not more, important. Well, perhaps the word future was a bad choice. Yeah, possibly. Either way, whatever you were... okay, so I'm guessing that Gibson was trying to say that so far this season, Arya has been uneventful, but he's trying to correct me right now inside the comment section. So to clear it up, guys, what Gibson's trying to say is that so far she's been uneventful, but he has exciting plans for her. So we'll see how her story ends. Just a poor wording. I really liked Stratosaurus. My mom saw me watching MI on our smart TV. She walked in right when Mary was being introduced, and Mary is my mom's name. She thought it was pretty cool. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. And she loves nature documentaries and actually enjoyed the episode. What? That is awesome. That is awesome. I love it when people show their parents it and they enjoy it. That's really cool. I know J212 has showed his grandpa, I believe, and his grandpa has liked MI so far, so that's really awesome. Gotta get dinner. Bye. See ya. I will say it was a bit annoying having the first 5 minutes just being landscape shots and such. Yeah, that was a very important thing, though. That's actually, I'm glad you brought that back up, though, because that sequence was very important for setting the tone for the rest of the season. I wanted to make sure I dwelled on the ominous gloom that is left in the storm's wake. I wanted to make sure I built up that atmosphere, and I just thought it was really kind of fun to show off some of the nature stuff. But thankfully, episode 1 and 2 are the only episodes in season 1 where they have a big nature sequence at the beginning. The rest of the show is all just dinosaur stuff. So at episode 3, where you guys are going to be free from that. So if you guys don't really care for sitting through it, I can kind of understand where you're going for it. Maybe I could have done a little bit better. Overall, I'm really happy with it, though, because episode 1 needed that nature sequence because it was introducing us to an island. You needed to understand the island. And episode 2 needed to dwell on the storm to just understand what the effects of that storm were going to be and why it was important citing action and what it's setting up for the future. So those 2 moments needed to be dwelling on, but the rest of the season doesn't have that. Wait, so is Kate a native to Hidden Valley or a newcomer? We haven't seen Kate yet. And while, yes, we still haven't met all of the native people to Hidden Valley, I think the only ones that we're missing right now are the Triceratops, and then we all met everybody who's native, but everyone else is a newcomer. The reason Jasmine and the Triceratops were all pushed off is because, for one, I only had limited space in episode 1. Jasmine's story worked better as an introduction in episode 2 because of her little connection with Redtooth at the beginning. And the Triceratops really aren't important until later on, and their sequence is really big, and I just did not have the room for that in the other episodes, so I needed to scoot them into episode 3. So I do believe they're the first thing you meet in episode 3, though. So you're gonna get some trike action too, and then that's all of the natives of Hidden Valley. So everyone else is a newcomer. After all, Rex is the second highest predator. That was awesome. Yes, I love that line. I love that line so much. Do you recommend blue or red tooth merch? By the way, I got red tooth merch. I love them both. I think that the red tooth one is done slightly better, but I love them both. Do you recommend blue or I read that? No, I love the first 5 minutes. The music and atmosphere is, yes, thank you, Gibson. You're one of the few people that really seem to have enjoyed that part. But I think that's mostly probably because you're a creative. You're making these things too, and you're really fantastic with your atmosphere as well. So I think you and I both have a common appreciation for that. I like the Red Tooth merch because I like Red Tooth and Rex slightly more. Yeah, Red Tooth, he's adorable. I love the merch with him. He's so cute. I'm worried for the Stratosaurus gang. As soon as Rex and Blue find them, dead. Oh, so you like the Stratosaurus gang? Awesome. That's pretty cool. They're antagonists, so they're supposed to be the bad guys in this season. But if you enjoy them, freaking sweet. I love their characters. I love the little line where it's a very mild humor, but I love the little line where it introduces Morrison and it says last and certainly least. It puts a little twist on the last but not least is usually what the saying is. But last and certainly least, I just love that little twist to the line. I thought that was quite humorous. It's intentionally some mild humor, but it also characterizes the character of Morrison. An idea for a DI show is where many herbivores are as competitive towards other herbivores as it starts running ecosystem and easy prey becomes rarer for predators. Well, you think that herbivores conflicting with one another, they'd end up killing each other and make easy meals because then there's carcasses laying around. I mean, look at my own series. Minutes go by with characters just soaking in ambience. That's true. That is true. But people like that more because the figure's on screen. They hate me because I want to show off pretty actual real nature, not plastic things. I'm just kidding. It's one of Gibson's many nicknames. Oh, that's something else. Make Rex merch. Yeah, that's definitely the one I want to make next. Rex is freaking great. As soon as I need to get Caesar on it though, because he's my artist for it. This isn't really about episode 2, but will Serrato's face off against Blue in the future episode? If you can say, what episode would it be? Well, I don't want to give that away, but they'll make an impact. Is what I'll say. As soon as Blue bit down on Hercules' neck, I remembered what you said about bites on neck, Kiki, and Kiki, and I was just like, I can't believe he's dead already. You're one of the people that actually caught onto. You're like, oh, Kiki's following through with what he was saying. He's taking life very seriously and how quickly they can end. Most people were just shocked and like still questioning, like, how the heck is he still gonna live after this? That's a heckin' bite. And then they realized he's dead. He's dead. The only reason why Blue and Rex are friends is because there's going to be a battle at the end of the series where they both fight the M-Rex. You can't hide it, Kiki. Yet again, I will continue to do this. And the only reason I'm going to be firm about this is because I really, really want to take it very, very seriously. People are going to overhype themselves on the Monster Commanderus Rex and think he's a big part of the season. He is not a big part of the season. He is a cameo. He is a cameo. There's not going to be a big battle with him or anything. That's reserved for season 2. The exciting stuff with Bone Crusher is going to be in season 2, not this season. He's a cameo in this season. So I love that you're speculating things like that, but please, I don't want people spreading around even more hype that not Red Tooth. I keep saying Red Tooth. Now I almost said Hercules. Bone Crusher. He is not a big part of the season. So please, because I don't want people to see him and then get really disappointed when he's not a big part of the season. I hyped him up, but I've been very firm and clear this whole time that he's just a cameo this season. He's just a little seed for later. He's not a big part of the season. He's going to be cool to show off, but he's not a big part of the season. Okay, bruh, poor Hercules. Aiden, Red Tooth has a chance to live. That adorable little baby his own merch, and there's a little favorite there's a favorite Tyrannosaurus figure for a possible sub-adult. Yeah, there's tons of possibilities. I mean, I already have a figure that could work as a sub-adult but it's a Chinosaur. But in the future of Mesozoic, I'm going to be using less stock figures, and I'm going to be repainting things. So if Red Tooth were to live, it'd probably be a repainted figure because I'd want it to fit characters and make them look a little bit more iconic and unique and stuff. So that's a little thing you can look forward to in the future. We're going to have a lot more like repainted, actually unique color schemes so they can be deferred from other series and stuff like that. And that's mostly going to be done through our man Spino dude. He's my repaint supplier. We do have some repaints this season, but not as many as I intend to have for season 2. I really believe that the bandits will be ending some of the best villains, or end up being some of the best villains. And also, I actually believe that they will manage to perhaps win a battle with Blue or Rex. Interesting. As soon as I saw Blue, I knew Hercules was dead. He was deet. I said series, not season. I know. What does it have to do? Oh, wait. You talking about the MREX one? At the end of the series. Oh, okay. My bad. That is my bad. Well, I do want to make it clear, though, either way, that I don't want people to get excited about a big thing happening this season. My bad. You're correct. You said season. You said series, not season. My bad. You got me. As soon as Blue popped up, I knew Hercules was going to die. I already read that. Why did I fully read it again? I think my second favorite part was when Blue left his marking on Hercules after death. Yes, I loved that part. Giga Studios. Did the Safari Giga make an appearance in next season? Next season, the Safari LTE 2017 Giga will definitely make an appearance. Does the Safari Giga make an appearance? I already read that. Any tips for repainting and such? I am not a repainter. I'd ask Mino Dude or ArtsyDilo for that. They're better than I am. That's where I get my tips from. I'm gonna watch episode 1 and 2 back to back later because I've not seen episode 1 in a while and I want to compare them more accurately. Yeah, I plan to, when I record the narration for episode 3, I'm also gonna re-record the narration for episode 1, and then before episode 3 comes out, I'm gonna re-release episode 1 with the updated narration with my voice, so it's consistent. And then I'll just retitle the original episode 1 to old version or something, and then the new one will say re-narrated in parentheses, and then eventually after a little bit I'll remove the re-narrated title and I'll just put that one in the playlist and I'll leave the other one out because I do want people to have a consistent experience with the episode so that you're not jarred from one voice changing. But I do plan on fixing that. With episode 3's narration will come episode 1 re-narration. Heckin' foot rip. Bone Shatter. That's a pretty cool name, actually. We'll go for it. It's not Bone Crusher. It's not the same thing. You picked the wrong house, fool. Oh yes. Well, I thought that Blue was just going to bite Hercules and not kill him, warn him to leave or not make any more trouble. Nah, he's like, this guy's dead, and I'm gonna use his corpse as a warning. Which obviously, it's very symbolic and intentional that the bandits come in, they see this warning, and they just eat it. Like, for one, yeah, it's realistic that an animal would come up and eat it, but also they're in a new territory where they should be at least alert that other things are there, but they don't care. They're like, yeah, we're gonna eat, and it symbolically shows that they're ignoring the warning. That's the symbolic and metaphorical meaning of that. They're literally devouring his warning. Well, I thought that Blue was just going to. I read that. The blood effect when Blue tore into Hercules was great. Thank you. I'm really happy with that as well. I think I might be the first person to have an Anchiornis in their series. Do you think I might? Yeah, I don't think anybody else has had one. That would be really cool. Anchiornis are cool. I was in a call with this sneaky Scraggle puss and his weird friend David, and they were giggling about some mysterious SH with the Safari Giga, but they won't tell me what it is. Heckin' secrets. Yeah. Okay. Actually, this is a good time to tell us. So, since David, or Spino Dude, and I have been working together on the script for Toa, Titans of Acropolis. I love that story. It's fantastic. I highly approve it. If you love Mesozoic, you're going to love Titans of Acropolis. I highly recommend you guys go check that out and keep up with it. It's fantastic. Amazing story. But because I loved working on it so much with him, I'm bringing David on as a scriptwriter, a co-writer for season 2 and 3 of Mesozoic. He knows how the whole series goes. He knows how the series ends. He doesn't know how season 1 goes. He doesn't know anything of spoilers, like certain characters that continue on through the show. He doesn't know about those. He knows about everything else that's not connected to them. And he knows about, obviously new characters that show up in the later seasons. And we've been talking about that stuff. And that's what Gibson's talking about. He knows what happens with the Safari Giga, and we're really excited about that because we love what we're doing with that. So Spino Dude is actually going to be a part of the writing process going forward. He doesn't know anything about season 1, though. He does know a secret, one little secret about season 1 that most people don't know. Caesar also knows that one secret. Caesar also knows how season 2 and 3 go. He's not spoiled. Neither of them are spoiled for how season 1 goes, though, because I do want them to enjoy that since it's already, finished. It's already filmed and everything. The writing process is not getting altered. My throat is getting really sore, so soon here I'm going to be getting off, guys. So if you have any more questions, let's just get going. I'm not going to leave immediately, but fairly soon. What are Kiki Quests and other DinoTuber meetups? It says on Patreon that is one thing the money goes to. So DinoTuber meetups is big collaborations of paying for trips for me to go out and visit other DinoTubers and do collaborations. I could go to Washington and meet Bionicle-saurus, Dino Man, and Kayakasaurus all there, and I could make videos with those guys. I'm friends with them all, and they all live in Washington, so I could go and visit them, and we could make a bunch of things with Patreon money. With that money, I'd have to obviously get support enough to fund a trip like that. The other thing, like Kiki Quests, I have a Kiki Quest. The first Kiki Quest is on the channel. They're documentaries. I go to various paleontological themed things and I explore them with you. The first one was a museum documentary where I visited my favorite museum, the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, and I did a little tour of it and kind of did some explanation, and we looked for a bunch of the things that are in there, went through life's journey over the course of prehistory, and we also got to meet Colorado's giant. I'd highly recommend checking it out if it sounds like something you'd be interested in. It's kind of like, I guess you could kind of call it what I've heard some people call it this, and I love it. It's really flattering. Some people have related it to like the Dino Tube Brave Wilderness thing. It's kind of like that. So it's like we go out and do like I actually go and visit things and do things there and some educational stuff. So it's kind of like that. So if you're interested in that, and I already have all the way up to episode 5 filmed. Episode 1's done. The rest of this, like, I guess season 1, you could call it, will be coming out soon once I get a little bit more gaps with the stuff with Mesozoic, but I want to get Mesozoic done first, so that's kind of being pushed off a little bit. But I will squeeze in episode 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 in as I go along with the season. Will Redtooth have major confrontations with Blue when he's older in the season? I think a tag team of Redtooth older and Rex and Blue would be cool. That would be very interesting, but you're talking about this season. Yet again, we don't know if Redtooth lives through the season. We don't know if he dies. We don't know if he lives. We don't know when or what could happen. But also, this season takes place over the course of just a couple weeks. So Redtooth's not getting any older by the end of the season. So there's not going to be like an age change where anything like that's going to happen in this season. If he lives, if he somehow survives, then that would be a different story. But does he? That's the question. You can always make a fan film about it, though. Blue equals Godzilla from King of the Monsters as Alpha Predator. Hell yeah, he's Godzilla. I'm guessing with that with the invasive species coming in, overhunting is looming threat. Yeah, there's going to be, it's kind of like a numbering threat, and then eventually certain individuals are going to be more of a threat than others. My Safari Chimera has a goofy eye. Oh, mine does too, dude. Mine too. I have to leave soon. I have to leave. See you soon. All right. See you, man. Thanks for joining in, Jimzilla. I really appreciate sticking around for so long. Aiden, just a word of advice. If you're going to have a character that is going to be around for 30 seconds, don't name it. Here's some advice. Understand why I did it. Got you there. See, the reason I did it is because it's because I named it, you expected it to live on. And then when it dies, it assures you and teaches you that Mesozoic takes itself seriously and that no character, even if they have a name, is safe. That's the point. That's the reason why Hercules was named. And I think the impact was huge, especially since so many people seem to be talking about that fact that he's got a name. And I'm like, perfect. Exactly what I wanted people to do. Because I want people to know nobody's safe. Nobody is safe in the show. Wait, there's 3 seasons of MI? Yeah, there's 3 seasons planned. It's a overarching story about the island, starting with season 1. The Hidden Valley is like our entry point to the island. It sets a lot of little seeds that are going to be sprouting, like the Monster Commanderus Rex is a seed that will sprout later. But season 1 is our kind of like entry point into this kind of world and the conflict that's growing, and then it will expand as the seasons go on. I have a series called Mesozoic Island. It started off very cringy, but I'm slowly but surely progressing to make it better. I did not rip off MI. I made it before I knew who you were. That's cool, man. I'm good with that. Goat, my Safari LCD camera is the only perfectly painted one in existence. I heckin' scuffed its face. That's sad. Tear. Wait, spoiled the fact that Blue dies. What did you do? Also, I had a series called Mesozoic Island, but I changed it to Mesozonia because MI LOL turned. Heckin' visit Demon Dad. Demon Dad. That's my man right there. It's a gorgeous man, gorgeous specimen. If cloning was more realistic, would clones have genetic differences or mental instability? Sometimes, yeah, depending on how it works out. For sure. I definitely play around with some of that stuff. You'll see, because actually with the Triceratops herd, you'll see that Triceratops were actually one of the most difficult genuses for the scientists to get right. They had a lot of flaws with them not growing up to size. That's kind of my canon excuse for why so many of the figures are not big enough for Triceratops. They couldn't get them to grow big enough, and they had a lot of issues with them. They had a lot of diseases and stuff going on with them. And so eventually, and Velociraptor was a species that was hit really hard with diseases and whatnot. They almost got wiped out because a certain disease hit them. So yeah, there definitely can be things like that. There are lore things like that. First Regulus. My state has no dinosaurs, very sad noises, but at least I have Basilosaurus. Ooh, dude, that's cool. That's a lucky. That's a stupid to have a character go from baby to sub-adult in one season. Yeah, I think that would just be too much of a time jump. I don't know who would think that's a good idea. Boy, he's gonna live. He's got merch. He's making him a main protagonist. He's giving him a plot shield. Which one? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Makes me smile. Well, the thing that makes me happy is that I'm trying to prove to people that nobody's safe in Mesozoic Isle. And so that people will be worried about it. Of course, some people still believe that certain characters have plot armor, but the fact is that I do follow up on the fact that nobody's safe. And so I think that eventually people are going to start getting the idea. But I'm not going to spoil anything. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Markiplier here. No, you're not Markiplier. Naming Hercules is obviously intentional and a well thought out little bit of. I don't know who was complaining up there, but heck off, boy. Thanks for the defense, Ankylosaurus. Is Hercules the next Patty? Yeah, exactly. He is. See, what I did is with Mesozoic Isle, I had a Satan ritual that I did, and I revived Patty, and I took her life force, and then I forced it onto the Chad Hercules, and we sacrificed him so we could bring Patty back from the dead as an infant. I also had to change out of Mesozoic names because of MI. Yeah, so I guess there's two people that did that. Thanks to high-tech Soviet technology, clones on MI are perfect. No, the Soviet Union, they don't have anything to do with it. Okay, Kiki, go away so I can go eat dinner. I hate you. Hearts. That's a very conflicting message. Did you know that Ark's Rebel Evolved actually has a story to it? Well, I think so, with all the weird little sciencey things that are going on, but I don't like Ark because the game made me mad because it doesn't work. I'm guessing Jasmine's food is being taken by the Carnegie Spine Boy. Ooh, that's an interesting theory. Are they any archosaurs besides dinosaurs and pterosaurs that inhabit Mesozoic Isle? Yeah, there's Postosuchus lives in the same place Coelophysis does. On the western side of the island, there's an area that's like kind of like Triassic stuff in the Western Divide. There's a mountain called Dilophosaur Peaks, and it's like a little mountain range, it's an elevated area, and then just below that, there's this like Triassic zone, and you have Coelophysis, you have Postosuchus, Brachiosaurus, and stuff like that that kind of live in that area. Oh, and other archosaurs, there's like Sarcosuchus and Dinosuchus and stuff like that, which still technically diverged from archosaurs. At what age would an Allosaurus fragilis be a young adult? Well, probably around age 14, 15 in Mesozoic Isle. And the canon is probably around where I put it. How do you deal with people who are always going to be disappointed in you no matter what you make? You just move on and you just make the other people happy. Some people, hey, people are people. Some people are just never going to be happy no matter what you do, but you have to just stay committed to your story and hope that people enjoy it. Some people are not, everybody's going to love every part of your story, but you just got to hope you just do your best, and you got to hope that people appreciate it. That's really it. As long as you're happy with it, then you're doing your best. Speaking of which is your life doing better, Kiki? Well, yeah, I'm doing much better right now. In terms of what you're relating to, that hasn't really changed, though, for reasons that I've explained to you, because that hasn't changed. The question is, why would people fund the creation of dinosaurs if not for exhibition of sort? That's the thing. There's a lot of breadcrumbs I spread about that are going to hint more and more as the series goes on as to what are certain intentions for it. Because obviously they didn't expose this island for a long time. The island was made dinosaurs were put on the island in 1989. And for years and years, they weren't showing it off. And only now are they doing a live show. And in the canon, Mesozoic Isle is the most popular show in the world because it's real dinosaurs. So everybody in the world is watching it, and they're making millions of dollars, which is helping to fund the island because the island's extremely expensive. So that's one way that they're doing that. But they do have other intentions they were doing with it. So that will be kind of, there's a little subtle hints. I'm never going to fully explain it because the whole point, the way that the show is represented is that is top secret. So I'm adding breadcrumbs, and hopefully people will be able to theorize and figure out some of the reasons as the series goes on, because I do leave breadcrumbs everywhere. Final season of MI just be Blue and Redtooth in prison together. They have to reluctantly work together to take down the corrupted prison runners and free all the inmates. That sounds too similar to the actual thing. I think I'm gonna have to kill you, just so you don't spread that information. I now volunteer at the Morrison Museum. Dude, that's sweet. That is sweet. Actually, I have a friend who works there. A guy named Cretaceous Cast, Spencer. I don't know if you've met him, but he and I are friends, and we know each other. He volunteers at the Morrison Museum as well. I love Allosaurus. Allosaurus special. That's pretty cool. So you're going to do like a big owl type thing? That's really cool. What if Redtooth learns that he is a tasty snack? That is a good point. What is your avatar? Gibson's avatar is the Nemicolopteryx from Pianist Hill. Oh, he already answered. I need to beat your record of 4. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm closing in on you. I'm about to meet my second Dinotuber in real life. My record's 4. Well, I guess I met Tizer. I met Caesar. I've met Edge. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're talking about. As Redtooth ages, he will be a sub-adult by season 3. He will learn the rules and learn the tactics of how to survive. As he ages, he will grow as top predator. Those are my predictions. Cool. Can't spoil anything. Can't say anything. But one thing I will say is a sub-adult is kind of unrealistic by season 3 because there's about 5 years that take place between each season. Season 2 takes place during 2018, 2019, around there, so right about now. And that's 5 years gap between it takes place in 2018. A 5-year gap between 2013 and 2018. Season 1 takes place in 2013. Season 2 takes place in 2018, and season 3 takes place in 2023, I think, right? Yeah, it takes place in 2023. And so by then he would be pretty close to an adult. But keep an eye out for Spencer. Yeah, I don't know if he's still, I'm pretty sure he still works there, but Hopefully he does. That'd be pretty cool if you could meet him. Someone needs to make a video of my idea of Hidden Valley being a club. And yes, that we'll turn that into an Aquat CDs video. My record is 1, still only Spinal Lord. Blue Red Tooth, I will beat your cloaca like I did to Hercules. Okay, then. Have any dinosaurs made it to the mainland by sneaking onto boats? No, they haven't done that. No people are allowed to interact with the island. Like, actually, no boats or anything go to the island. There's only like drones and stuff that actually go over the island and look at it. The island is completely isolated, and they have if you go to the prologue, it kind of explains a little bit about the barriers, and nothing has ever slipped out in all of their time. As far as they know, nothing has slipped out. Who knows? Maybe down the line, I'll make up a story of like, hey, an ichthyosaur somehow swam out their invisible barriers, and it was found in the Gulf of Mexico, and some fisherman shot it and put it up on his wall, and then turned its face into a belt. I don't know. Your hybrid will pop out. Red Tooth, maybe one day we'll find out Blue. Oh, you better hope that day never comes. Red Tooth, maybe one day we'll find out. Oh, about the fight between them. I see what you're talking about. Red Tooth seems a bit heckin' familiar to a certain DI protagonist. It's almost like he's an homage to a certain DI protagonist with the name. I wonder why. It's totally not a reference because Dinosaur Island is the inspiration. I have the Eclectic Stratosaurus, and just like you, I'm making variations in species. His name is Carnage. Ooh, cool. I think I really have to go now. Don't say anything interesting. Okay, bye, Kinky. All right, bye-bye. All right, guys, I'm going to be going now. It's about 2 hours, so any last questions? My voice is killing me. You don't know my past post. How dare you? Bone Crusher's cameo will be him killing Red Tooth, calling it. Oof. That would be a cameo. Oof. Cornelius. Cool. The reason why there's barriers in MI is because it used to be Monster Island, and they just reused the barriers to keep Rodan in. Exactly, my dude. Exactly. Which character in MI is the sexiest? Sexiest? Okay, that's what you meant. Sexiest. Kate. Kate the Carcharodontosaurus. She's my favorite girl. That's got to be who it is. I'm going to draw some MI characters. Ooh, cool. More drawings. Do you have any more name ideas for Anchiorus? Andy? I don't know. I'd have to really sit down. I'm a very intense process thinking of names. Bone Crusher looked like Vitae Giga. If he is the Vitae Giga, I'll officially say the show is a disappointment. Okay, then. But I've already confirmed that the base figure is not a Vitae figure. So if that was it, then I'd be a liar, which I'm not. I think Bone Crusher will be the third character for my tie, for my favorite characters. My other two being Red Tooth and Rex. Bone Crusher is pretty cool, so he may be. Is it Give Me Snake or Give Me Snake in the Return Dance? I think it's Give Me Snake. Oh, Snack? No, it's Snick. Yeah, like the snake. Not gonna lie, Jasmine looks pretty thick. This is a joke. What do I name the Anchi Aiden? That would be pretty interesting. I'd be very flattered if you wanted to use my name. But I mean, I encourage you to use something that's more animal-like too. for realism. But if you like naming things some occasionally human names, then go for it. I'm cool with it. Boy, I'm drawing 2 Gorgos fight Penta. It looks sweet as hell. Sweet, man. I made Wikitubia pages for you, Matthew, and Camo. Yes, you did. It's very cool. Kiki, before I go, at least tell me the figure company and damn, no. My goodness. You're so desperate for that. What did you leak? Wait, did you leak the figure Bone Crusher was or the company of the figure? No. I have heard somebody did actually guess it, but I didn't tell them. I did see someone way back when. It was a really long time ago. Somebody did actually guess the company, but I ignored it because I didn't want to say it. So somebody has actually guessed the correct company, but all the main companies, all the big companies you're thinking of, it's not that. It's a more obscure company. Vitae is not it. Safari's not it. Papo's not it. Collecta's not it. I mean, none of the big ones are it. And a lot of people have guessed things like Favorite Co. and PNSO. None of those are the manufacturers of the company. Base figure, but somebody has guessed it. Somebody has guessed it. And Spino Dude knows what it is. And when that person guessed it, I screenshot their message in the thing that I saw it in. I'm not going to say where I saw it. But I saw it, and I screenshot it and showed it to David, and he was like, ooh, boy, they're catching on. But nobody else ever guessed that company again. I know who it was, too. So once he's revealed, I can say who guessed it. Who guessed the company. I've decided for every carnivore hybrid, I will make 2 herbivore hybrids. What do you think of that? Heck yeah, man. Got to get some herbivore hybrids in there. Is it Kenner? No, it's not any of the JP stuff either. Like any of them. None of them. It's not a JP figure. Bone Crusher is possibly PNSO Nelacolopterus. I think you mean Nemicolopterus, but no, it's not. That would be adorable to the Bone Crusher, though. I remember I guessed Bone Crusher's name with just the first letter. You did. You were the one who guessed his name. Person who guessed the company gets an MI DVD. Maybe. I don't know. They're going to be pretty expensive to make, but that may be a possibility. That may be a possibility. When you reveal Bone Crusher, I probably won't even know the company. Maybe not. I think it's quite possible that people won't, but you'll know what the base figure is. You'll know the general base figure. It's very obvious. It's very, very obvious, but he still looks awesome. No, people have asked, oh, 3D. Never mind. I just reread that. No, it's not the original Toyway Walking with Dinosaurs figures, and it's not Walking with Dinosaurs 3D figures either. Those are not it. Maybe Invicta. Invicta's been guessed a lot. I didn't even know what Invicta was until many people guessed Invicta for Bone Crusher's figure, and I was like, what is Invicta? No, it's not Procon. I'd consider them Collecta. It's not Procon either. Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining in. You've already guessed both of those before, Gibson. Thank you guys so much for joining in the live stream. My voice is killing me. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed episode 2. Hopefully you all liked it more. Episode 3, I've already begun work on it. The website's almost done, so you can look forward to that. And yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining in. Thank you guys for all the questions and all the hot debating. I just enjoy the hell out of talking to you guys so much that I'm letting my voice just get utterly destroyed. My throat hurts so much right now. So I love you all, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.